Hello, everybody. It is Reed Mahalko from readaboutsex.com, your friendly neighborhood sex and relationship geek. And I'm here to talk to you today in video number 3 of our 3-video series, little 10-minute videos filled with information about how you can create a world where you're making more money as a sex educator and expanding your reach and reaching more people with your message. And one of the ways that I'm going to be doing it this year is by inviting people to Sex Geek Summer Camp happening in West Virginia, August 9th through 13th this year. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that at the end of this video. And then tomorrow or the day after, I'll be sending you an email to a video that will explain everything about Sex Geek Summer Camp and also the 6-week online course for those of you who can't make it to West Virginia, the Sex Geek School for Gifted Sex Geeks. And for those of you who are comic book fans and my geeks who are into the X-Men, you know what that reference is about. Now, for those of you who haven't watched the first 2 videos, please, please, please go back and watch video 1 and video 2 because we talk about really interesting things, some basic concepts about the industry of sex education and how we can look at places where a lot of sex educators are making mistakes, where you can start leveraging these things such as online and technology, how you can use community and peermanship, and also stealing or copy and pasting outside best business practices from other industries and how we can bring that into the sex educator community and basically copy and paste them so that we're making a better living as sex educators. Because if you're anything like me, when I first got into this field 10 years ago, it was hard to make a living. I was having to bartend, I was still an actor back then and doing film and TV production stuff. And basically I was juggling all these balls just to make ends meet while midwifing a really big workshop that was going viral in the media, and that was Cuddle Party. And then as I started becoming famous for Cuddle Party and that communication workshop, I was getting to meet all of my sex education heroes and finding out that they were all, for the most part, burnt out and hustling harder than ever to make a dime and how to make ends meet there. And as I started doing sex education full time, I was realizing that, wow, this is really tough making a living at doing this. And how do we create more ease and more fun in this industry and also some prosperity? And that's where I started, focusing on the business of sex education. And 6 years ago, I got to a place in my career where I was able to make a living and I was able to quit all my other jobs. And then I really started focusing in and honing in on the entrepreneurialship of being an expert, being an educator, and then also taking my geek from the sex and relationship geek and really focusing it on business itself and starting to understand what it was that I was doing wrong around business, and then just kind of filtering it through all of my geekiness and figuring out I can help other sex educators figure out for themselves how to do business. There are a lot of principles that are really useful and applicable to almost any sex educator, any workshop facilitator, any expert or authority in their field. And as a super geek, I'm just going to tell you that there's certain pieces and bits of advice that I'm going to advise you to try to figure out your own self-expression in. Things around business models. There are different kinds of business models to look at. We talk about this in video 2. And if you pick the wrong area or the wrong teaching style to focus on, especially when you're starting out, and if you're picking the wrong business models or the wrong kind of sales models, it's going to be really hard for you to feel at ease and congruent with how you're approaching your career and your brand. And that certain people are going to be really savvy to that and kind of pick up that you're not quite congruent with how you're doing your business, and it's going to make them feel wary, and they're going to kind of back off. And one of the big aha moments for me in the last couple of years was figuring out there are different business models and different sales styles that we can adopt. And when you find one that's right for you, and you start aligning that with your teaching styles, and then you start understanding that there are all these different ways for you to get your message out there to different people, all of that clarity, when you start integrating it and weaving it into how you're doing your work, makes the brand or the kind of educator or the organization that you might be running or the store that you might want to be launching and opening, it makes those things way more powerful and helps other people make more sense of who you are and what you're creating, such that your self-expression, when it's in alignment, that kind of synergy that you're creating, it's attracting people to you who are actually really excellent customers for you for the most part. It's basically a kind of professional version of charisma, so to speak, and it's really powerful, and it's something that I had a lot of difficulty finding early on in my sex education career because no one was teaching it. And now I'm really super excited to be creating a whole 5-day event and then a 6-week online course to really reveal all this information for you guys and to help walk you through figuring this stuff out for yourself. And so in today's video, in the last 3 minutes that I have, as the counter ticks down, because I want to keep these things to under 10 minutes, the last bit of advice around how you can take the information from the first 2 videos and start implementing it is I want you to start looking for, whether it's Sex Geek Summer Camp or wherever you go for support, go out and make it a point to get some professional support and also some peer support. You want to surround yourself with other peers in the sex education or sex positivism world and look for some professional support, either inside of sex education in that realm, either a mentor or a coach around the business side of things, or you can find a mentor or coach in another industry and then start copy and pasting here. For me, as a geek, I'm just going to deliver that all in this really fun 5-day event out in the middle of West Virginia next to a creek where we can all go swimming, and then we're going to have campfires and sing-alongs and stuff like that at night. But during the day, we're going to work really hard, and I'm going to reveal all of this information to you and walk you guys through how to understand the business of sex education and being an expert in the world in a way that's going to start making all of this make sense and have you and what your calling is make sense to you in a way where there'll be clarity and other people will start to get you in a way that they've never been able to get you before. That being said, the challenge in today's video, video 1, it was to shoot some video and post some advice that you were giving on sex and relationships and then send me the emails. The links to those videos so that I could, cheer you on, go check out your videos. Then there's also you figuring out what your #1 teaching style was in video number 2. For today, what I want you to do is I want you to pick one of your favorite sex education or relationship and intimacy coach or workshop facilitator heroes. Pick one of those heroes and figure out a way for you to be able to add value to what they're doing. Not asking them for a favor, but showing up almost out of the thin blue air and basically saying, hey, I love your work. It inspires me. How can I help you get your message out there further into the world? Trust me on this. You will gain more and get more out of being of service to others, especially your heroes. And by giving back to them, you'll gain access and get to learn more about what they're up to and how they're doing it. And we just we appreciate it. This was something I did early on in my career by creating discussion panels and inviting people to be a part of discussions and helping promoting those discussions. Whatever that version is for you, who's your hero and how can you add value to them? Tomorrow, for those of you who want to go a little bit deeper with what we've been geeking out on in these 3 videos, tomorrow I'm going to send you an email that's going to give you a link to an entire video about talking about Sex Geek Summer Camp, how it runs, the online course, what we're going to cover. I'm just going to geek out on all that stuff, and it's going to be an invitation for those of you who are interested in going deeper to go to Sex Geek Summer Camp or to join me online for Sex Geek School for Gifted Sex Geeks. If this stuff doesn't resonate with you, I hope this information served you well. Please take it, share it, have fun. We need more of you out there in the world. Thank you so much. Keep on rocking and keep on changing the world and make it a more sex positive place. Thank you. Bye.